Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm so proud of you and your show and everything that you're doing and just the representation that you bring to the table. I love you and I can't wait to meet you in person so we can do a big hug.
Yay, thank you for that. It's definitely happened when you come here in September. We are making that a date. But I'm excited because you are now taking the road by storm with Velvet Rage. And before we get into that, we got to talk about your beginnings. What got you into the world of performing? We know that you've done a lot of work in choreography, RuPaul's Drag Race. I mean, your credits abound. But tell us about those beginnings, Todrick.
Well, I got introduced to theater at a very young age by my elementary school teacher, Pat Carthel, who I thank immensely for every project that I do, because without her, I would have not been exposed to this world that has completely like stolen my heart and given me such motivation and reason to exist and to express my artistry. But at a very young age, at like 7 years old, 8 years old, I was introduced to theater and dance, and I fell in love with it. I trained in ballet, tap, and jazz my whole life, started singing in church, and by the time I was 20, I made my Broadway debut in The Color Purple, thanks to my church vocal training, because that's all I had, and my dance training throughout my life. And I just, started falling in love with not just the art of dancing, but the art of storytelling through movement and what Broadway specifically brings. And then I took that love and kind of put it on YouTube and started making these crazy parodies based on things that I loved, like Broadway and theater and Disney um, and a whole bunch of like kind of theater nerds started to follow me and helped me build this platform on the internet.
Wow. Well, I mean, a lot of folks have been able to see your talent because you did bring it out to all of us. So thank you for that. I'm a proud mom because I'm a thespian myself, right? So I'm with you on that when it comes to theater, and I'm so grateful because it really gives you such a firm foundation, and that is continuing in my son who's 9 years old, and he is in the Teen Summer Musical this year. He told me months ago, he said, "Mom, I want to act." So I got him right into it, and he is so elated. They're going to be opening up this Friday. But when you talk about theater, it really is about storytelling, and specifically storytelling through movement. There are some sharp moves that you can do that really cut right through to the audience to really convey that mood. How do you utilize all of the talents you have to continue your forms of storytelling?
I just try to captivate people on a completely human level. I try to, my that same teacher told me once before, if you can make people laugh and if you can make them cry, you will have a fan for life. And I think that my show, specifically Velvet Rage, is going to do that as well. There are moments that are extremely sentimental and vulnerable, and then there are moments that just make you laugh because they're kind of like theater, comedic, parody things that are very reminiscent of the beginning stages of my career on YouTube. And then, of course, I have those songs that just give you confidence, that make you want to dance and feel like you are the baddest bee to ever exist on the planet. And so I really tried to like make my show a roller coaster of emotion and heightened energy. And I think the way a show happens, the format, the set list, the way you unfold the different layers of yourself is a really important part of a show. You can have a really talented artist, but if you don't unfold that flower or the Russian nesting doll, take it out in just the right way, it can kind of get lost, and people can forget what they just watched. So I think that the structure of this show is the strongest out of all the tours that I've been on. And I just want to say I applaud you so much for putting your son in theater. There are a lot of people, specifically in the Black community. It was a very huge deal to the people that were at our church and at our school and in our close knit family circle when my mom decided to put me in dance, because it was something I was really passionate about. And I just love parents who are willing to see their kids as something other than just a basketball or football player athlete. We as Black people can be so much more than just that. I think it's incredible that we completely dominate the sports industry, but I love the fact that, like, nobody can sing or dance like we can. It's just something that's innately in us. And I love when parents put their kids in that, especially young boys, because there are a lot of people who are so afraid of that. And I just love that you're not. So I just wanted to say thank you. That warmed my heart.
Oh, yeah, no, I definitely not am not afraid. And it's so cute because my mom just told me yesterday, she said, because he plays football too. And he went to his football coach. He said, next year, I'm not playing football because I'm going to do only theater. And the coach was like, well, you could do both like you're doing this year. And my son was like, oh, wait a minute, what? I don't got to choose. And it's like, no, you don't got to choose. You don't got to be in one box. And I totally agree with you. And I also think there's something to be said for, us having more and more examples of what it looks like for us to be on stage. So kudos to you for bringing not only your skills to YouTube, but now to these stages all across America. I love how you explain the show in terms of unfolding, but I also think about something that's so foundational in the world of theater, which is really characterization. There's something about how characters connect to audience members. And when you are the character, when it's your personality, tell us how you're utilizing all that is Todrick to really bring that out so audience members are really connecting with you.
I think it's something I've been honestly scared to do for so long. I think I've hidden behind characters and costumes because in theater, oftentimes you're embodying someone else. And if you're doing it right, you can really, for 2.5 hours while you're in a show, forget who you are and completely be immersed in the character that you're portraying and bringing to life. And in my first albums, I was Todrick, but Todrick and Straight Out of Oz, and a character in a visual album called Forbidden. But this is the first time I've been through so much on the internet, and I'm so grateful for the positive and negative experiences that I've had because they've really shaped me to be a more well-rounded, self-aware person, a better version of myself, I think. And I think that on this tour, I'm going to give people what they paid for and what they came to see. But I also want to have moments where I just sit down and talk to the audience, which has been something I've been very afraid of doing because it feels very vulnerable. And I love for everything to be rehearsed and on point because I am a theater kid. I love for it to basically be scripted. But in this tour, I really want to tear those walls down and just sit down and talk to people about what it really takes to be in this industry, because the more success you get, the more eyes that are looking on you, the more opinions that are thrown your way, and it can be really difficult as the person on the receiving end of that to navigate and to have a strong sense of self and to know who you really are at the end of the day, because without that it's really difficult to be successful in this industry. It's hard. You don't want to lose yourself. If you're someone who can make it through, get some sort of success, and still come out not scarred and be a recognizable version of yourself, then I think that you have ultimately won.
Oh, I love that message, Todrick, and I think it's so true, particularly nowadays where we have more and more access and exposure to the lives that, celebrities lead and that folks in the industry have because of their social media platforms or because of us being able to, connect with them in these different ways. But oftentimes, I think what I'm seeing actually is a trend of folks who are being more and more vulnerable and coming out and sharing certain things around, look, maybe it was cool for me to shake my tail back then, but now I'm a mother and now I'm thinking about my baby when I'm out there, but people know me to shake my tail. And you see that people are starting to come out and really express more and more of this layer of vulnerability, which I think is so key to being real in the midst of, putting on these major shows and being able to, perform for the audience. So much of it is about them really connecting with you. So, kudos to you. Congratulations for you to say, I know that I need to make space and time on this tour to have those kind of conversations. What are some of the things you're really wanting the audience to gain when they come to this amazing show for Velvet Rage? What do you want them to walk away with, Todrick?
I want them to walk away and see a full, well rounded person. I think I've assisted in making myself not seem real. I try to strive for perfection when I fail all the time. And I think sometimes people need to see that. They need to see that you're a real human. And I want people to understand, because a lot of my fans also want to pursue performing. They want to be a self made artist. And people know that I don't have a record label. I don't have management. I have a manager now, but I just recently got a manager for the first time in a long time. And people want to know how they can make a name for themselves. But I think I would be remiss if I didn't explain how difficult it is and how difficult it is to live your life in front of everyone, and the ridicule and the criticism that you get and the negative backlash that you get and what it's like to be canceled, all those things are really difficult parts of this industry. And I would never want to scare someone away from chasing their dream, because I think it's so important, especially for people of color, especially for queer people, to be out there being a great role model in the best way that they know how. But there's this part of our culture that expects for people who are public figures to not be human and to not make mistakes. Or if they hear a story, they're like, I believe 100% of that, where there's always nuance and the truth probably lies somewhere in the middle. And I think navigating that is so difficult. So I just want to talk to people about my journey, because my fans have stayed so steadfast and true and have supported me through headlines that almost painted myself to be an unrecognizable version of myself. And the headlines were usually not 100% false, but they definitely weren't 100% true as well. And I think having a platform to be able to express my point of view, but also my gratitude to people for sticking with me, because friendship and love and support doesn't look like somebody that you run away from when they're in trouble or in hot water. You love them through it. When your friend does something you don't like, you don't like disassociate yourself with them. You love them through it. And I think that's what true friends are. And I've been able to see who my true friends are, who my true allies are, and who my true fans are throughout this process. And I just have never been more grateful than I am right now to have such a strong fan base who is coming out to support me in the way that they are.
Well, we love hearing that, because nowadays the fickleness is real. So, Todrick, thank you so much for your time today. Of course, people need to come out, get their tickets. This is STG Presents Velvet Rage. You will be at the Moore Theater September 10th. How else can folks connect with you? Maybe, subscribe to your YouTube channel. How else should folks be plugging in?
Yeah, just follow me. I'm on all of the platforms except for Twitter. My name is Todrick. It's just one D. Follow me on YouTube. Subscribe. Get your tickets at todrickhall.com. I hope you can make it to the show. If you're skeptical, get the tickets, because you will love it. If you're on the fence, and this is my fourth or fifth time playing the Moore. We always have a great time. I thank Seattle so much for embracing me the way that you do, and I'm ready to show up and show out for you.
All right, on. I cannot wait to connect with you when you come to town. It is a date. Thank you again so much for joining me on the day with Trae, and for uplifting us and giving us an opportunity to connect with you and also connect with your amazing talent. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see you.
Thank you, my love. Bye.
Bye.